Todd Chrisley has become livid and went off on a F-bomb tirade. Fans were shocked to see how angry Todd got in that moment. However, it was hilarious to most. Todd and Julie Chrisley have returned to their home in Nashville, Tennessee, after a long 28 months locked away in federal prison. Since then, Chrisley has been active on social media, and fans are loving it. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd Chrisley was recently released from federal prison. His daughter, Savannah Chrisley, was fighting for her parents' freedom the entire time they were locked up. However, now that he is out, Todd is still fighting for what is right. He does not agree with the justice system. He thinks that they have done a lot of things wrong, especially in the prisons. However, he did recently get to pick up his friend and take him out for a nice meal after he was released. This is something he loved doing and did not want the friends he made in prison to feel as though they were forgotten. Todd Chrisley has reshared a hilarious prank that fans love watching. They were out in the dark on what looked to be a tour. Chase threw a fake snake at his father. Todd then goes off and starts cussing up a storm. He tells Chase that he is a stupid asterisk and lets him know that it is not asterisk king funny. His reaction was hilarious. Todd shared the old post and asked Chase if he remembered. He then told Chase that payback is a asterisk catch. So fans want to see what Todd has up his sleeve. Soon, fans could be seeing a funny prank that Todd plays on Chase. It seems as though Todd did not like Chase's prank. However, this happened years ago. Fans love seeing the old video every time it comes out. Todd did remind Chase that payback sucks. So fans are waiting to see what Todd has in store for his son. Viewers also love seeing the family back together once again. It was hard for them all to be apart from one another. What do you think about this? Did you find the video to be funny? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Haley is a writer and loves any reality TV show. She is a fur mom and works from home with them by her side. It began quietly, like a pressure cooker slowly hissing under the weight of too much heat. Todd Chrisley has always prided himself on composure, the ability to face scandal, betrayal, and public humiliation with a smile and a snarky remark. From financial lawsuits to strained family dynamics, he had handled every situation with that famous Chrisley confidence. Todd had been trying to keep his life together since his incarceration. Every call, every letter, every public comment seemed to test his patience more than the last. The strain of being separated from his wife, Julie, and children had already taken an emotional toll. But when new reports surfaced suggesting that some of his closest confidants were leaking private information to the press, something inside him broke. He had trusted these people, individuals who had once been invited into his inner circle, his home, even his heart. And now, it seemed, they had turned their backs on him. When Todd found out, there was no rehearsed line, no witty remark. There was only raw, unfiltered anger. The explosion inside a private conversation that has now been described by insiders as unlike anything anyone's ever heard from him. Todd reportedly went off. The Southern gent everyone knew from Chrisley Knows best became unrecognizable. "This," he roared, his voice sharp enough to cut through the air like glass. Every word that followed came from a place of betrayal. Every curse was fueled by months, maybe years, of pent-up emotion. For once, Todd didn't care about optics. He didn't care about brand deals, fan opinions, or what the public might think. This was pure, unfiltered Todd, a man who'd reached his breaking point. Witnesses described the tirade as scorching, filled with every variation of the F word imaginable. It was the sound of a man finally tired of being polite while others played with his life and reputation. "He's usually calculated," one insider explained, but this was all emotion. He was furious, not at one person, but at everyone who'd ever doubted him, betrayed him, or mocked what his family's been through. The explosion reportedly went on for several minutes, a rare, uncensored glimpse of a man whose private pain has been on display for far too long. a life under pressure. To understand this outburst, you have to look at everything that's led up to it. Todd Chrisley has been through more in the past few years than most people endure in a lifetime. The legal battles, financial scrutiny, and imprisonment have left scars that fame and money could never heal. His family, once the picture-perfect Southern dynasty, has been fractured by stress and circumstance. Julie, his wife and partner through decades of chaos, remains a beacon of quiet strength. Their children, each dealing with the fallout in their own ways, have become targets of public speculation and online cruelty. Todd, meanwhile, has had to live under constant watch, his words monitored, his calls recorded, his world shrunk down to the confines of a few walls. In that kind of environment, it's only a matter of time before even the strongest person snaps. And when he did, the tirade wasn't just about betrayal or rumors. It was about everything. The exhaustion, the heartbreak, the endless cycle of judgment that has followed him since the day cameras first entered his home. From Southern charm to raw emotion for years, Todd Chrisley's appeal came from his balance, his ability to combine sharp humor with old-school Southern values. Fans adored him for his quick wit and moral backbone, even when controversy swirled around. He preached about family, loyalty, and faith, and genuinely seemed to live by those words. That's why this breakdown shocked so many. To hear that the man known for telling his kids to behave like Chrisley's had unleashed a tirade of F-bombs felt like seeing a preacher swear in church. But the truth is, Todd's humanity was always there, buried beneath the layers of image and expectation. Behind the television persona lies a man who's been pushed past his limit. The polite smile has cracked, and beneath it, there's real pain. "He's human," said one person close to the family. "He's been holding it together for too long. When you're constantly attacked, eventually, something's got to give. He didn't mean to lose control, he just couldn't hold it in anymore." The fallout, the aftermath of the tirade, has been a whirlwind. Word spread quickly through his inner circle. Some were shocked, others sympathetic. A few even suggested it was long overdue. There's talk that Todd's outburst could be included in future coverage about his life after prison, possibly even in a future docuseries his family has been developing. While that's unconfirmed, producers have reportedly taken interest in showcasing the unfiltered truth behind Todd Chrisley. The incident, though chaotic, may end up redefining how fans view him. For years, Todd has been a symbol of control, but this version, the raw, angry, human version, might be the most relatable he's ever been. Fans who once saw him as unshakable are now seeing something new: vulnerability. Honestly, one fan posted on social media, "I don't blame him. He's been through hell. Sometimes you just have to let it out." Another commented, "We've seen the polished Todd. Now we're seeing the real one. Maybe this is what he needs to heal." A family's response inside the Chrisley family, reactions have been mixed. Savannah, who's taken on a public role as her parents' defender and spokesperson, reportedly tried to calm her father down after the tirade. "She knows his heart," a family friend said. "She knows he didn't mean to lash out at everyone. It was just the pressure." Chase, on the other hand, took a quieter approach, keeping his distance but expressing support. "He loves his dad," the insider added, "but he's also protective. He doesn't want to see him break down like that again." Julie, ever the steadying force, has reportedly been patient and understanding. Her faith in Todd has never wavered. Not through legal chaos, imprisonment, or public scrutiny. "She told him to pray," said the source. She reminded him that anger is human, but forgiveness is divine. The public perception, the media's reaction, has been, predictably, divided. Some outlets have sensationalized the tirade as proof that Todd is losing control, while others have framed it as a man's understandable breaking point after years of struggle. Fans, however, seem to be rallying behind him. Social media threads are filled with messages of empathy and encouragement. "Todd's been holding so much in," one user wrote. "If I were in his shoes, I'd be angry too. The man's lost his freedom, his reputation, and been betrayed. Let him vent. For many, this moment has made Todd more human than ever before. The man who once seemed untouchable is now standing in the same emotional trenches as everyone else. The path forward in the wake of his emotional eruption, Todd has reportedly taken steps toward grounding himself again. Sources claim he's focusing on faith, forgiveness, and therapy, trying to rebuild his sense of peace. He's still fiery, one insider said, but he's learning how to channel it. The outburst was ugly, sure, but it was also a release. He needed it. Those close to him say this could mark the beginning of a new chapter, one less about image and more about authenticity. Todd may never be able to erase that tirade, but maybe that's the point. Maybe it's time the world sees him not as a caricature of Southern perfection, but as a flawed man fighting to reclaim his dignity.